So another 3 episodes of WandaVision have come along, and it's time to post another review about this series. So after 3 episodes of WandaVision, I think the majority of us were like this.
I don't need sleep, I need answers.
And after the resulting 3 episodes which came after, everyone is now like this.
I don't need sleep, I need answers.
It's fair to say episodes 4 to 6 were kind of more of the same for WandaVision, which isn't a criticism because the show has definitely evolved from the first 3 episodes. After the first 3 episodes, I said I would treat this show kind of like a 3-act film. As Feige did say, these Disney Plus series, each episode would basically be like an MCU film. So episode 4 to 6 were kind of Act 2. So what did I think of Act 2? Well, I would say on the whole I probably enjoyed episodes 1 to 3 more than 4 to 6, which was kind of a tough call to make. Episodes 4 to 6 have gone some way into answering some of the lingering questions which were set up in episodes 1 to 3, but without actually fully answering these questions. Instead, we mostly get Jimmy Woo's whiteboard and being like this throughout most episodes.
But why?
I'm not saying I would want everything answered within these episodes, far from it. I think the series has done very well in drip feeding the audience information without us going as far as to answering everything. We now understand Wanda created this pocket reality and Vision's body was stolen from the Sword base. Outside that, we don't really know too much about this series, other than the characters are now questioning their surroundings, such as Vision, and Pietro appears to know that this is all fake. However, I did say in my previous review that over these next few episodes I would like to know character motivations, what they're up against and what they have to lose. And the show hasn't really answered any of that, despite being 2/3 through its runtime. I enjoyed episode 4 titled We Interrupt This Program as it deviated from the sitcom storyline and began answering the questions of the show that was on everyone's mind. I feel it was a good move from the show as it seems to drift further from the sitcom nature of the show, as I could see that element becoming tiresome if overused. And now each episode is split between the sitcom and Sword researching what's going on. And even in the sitcom world, the entire time is not devoted to that mode of storytelling, and actually focuses more on characters trying to escape the sitcom. The introduction of characters such as Darcy Lewis, Jimmy Woo and Monica Rambeau have been fantastic additions to WandaVision, and it appears we will be getting a superpowered Monica Rambeau, who is actually Captain Marvel 2 in the comics, and appears to be getting her powers in a very similar way to Captain Marvel in the films through, energy explosions and all that shit. I do feel the WandaVision story should be getting progressed at a faster rate than what is currently happening, and I think a lot of my feelings are aimed at episode 6, All New Spooktacular, which for me was probably one of the more weaker episodes of the series, as I felt it didn't progress the story quite as much as it could have. I know it ended on a cliffhanger with Wanda expanding her pocket reality, but I don't know, I just felt this episode dragged a little up until the final couple of minutes. Nothing was really answered, and the episode posed more questions than answers. This especially coming after episode 5, which posed a huge question with Pietro returning. This episode seemed like filler, and for the runtime didn't really progress the story as much as I would have liked. However, it's still a fantastic episode, it's just probably the weakest one out of the 6 so far. This episode also leaned heavily on the sitcom nature of WandaVision, which was something they had been deviating from the last few episodes, and something I was enjoying because I felt the sitcom nature of the show was becoming a bit tedious. It was great to see in the first 2 episodes, but it was time for the show to evolve and move on from this. And instead this episode decided to rely quite heavily on being a sitcom parody, up until of course the final 5 or so minutes. I don't know, I just feel this episode dragged a little until the final couple of minutes, and I feel like I'm going to get a lot of hate for that opinion now.
I shouldn't have said that. I should not have said that. I shouldn't have said that.
I praise the performances of Paul Bettany and Elizabeth Olsen, and I'll praise them again because they have been fantastic throughout this entire run of WandaVision. They easily transition from each new sitcom, and these two's on-screen chemistry really makes the show what it is, and I love both of these actors. On the whole, I enjoyed episodes 4 to 6 thoroughly, and my reservations about the show not moving the story forward enough is more me being a nerd and wanting answers to this show that I am enjoying so much, compared to being annoyed with how the show is written, because on the whole WandaVision is a fabulously written show, and I can't find many negatives with it at all. I think a good measure of a show is, would you want to binge watch it? So even though the show is being released in weekly segments, by the end of each episode, would you want to watch the next episode? And for WandaVision, I definitely would. The show doesn't rely too heavily on cliffhangers, which is something that really annoys me about these weekly shows, although the last couple of episodes have been looking more at cliffhangers. The show relies more heavily on asking questions to the audiences and setting up mysteries, which is something I really appreciate. If all these episodes were released at once, I know I definitely would binge watch them all, which I think is a good measure for a show, and makes it evident that actually I'm very invested in WandaVision and I want to watch as much of it as I can as possible. I am though concerned that perhaps the last couple of episodes will be a mad dash to the finish line to answer everything, and things might get lost on the way to the finale. However, I think it's harsh to judge a show on what could happen, and it is fairer to allow it to play out. But I do have that small concern in the back of my mind that everything is going to be a mad dash and the slow build of this series will abruptly end. Overall, episodes 4 to 6 have been thoroughly enjoyable. It's time for these questions to start getting answered because there are only 3 episodes left, and I hate when shows rush a finale, and I would rather it was done slowly and properly. So hopefully in the next episode will be a big reveal episode, and the last 2 will kind of be the finale tying everything together. And as always, thank you for watching.